Hey guys, welcome back to SLT Learning, and this is Ankit Prajapati, and today we're gonna cover another question on API testing. So we have going good on API side. Now we are have covered almost 6 to 7 questions, but we are targeting by end of this month we will cover at least 15 questions for you, which are the most commonly asked question by the tech companies. So if you are preparing for the manual role as well, I would recommend it just go through this API testing, because API related question will come for all the QA. It can be the manual QA as well, it could be the automation QA as well. Okay, so let's see what we're gonna cover today. So what is API key based authentication? So okay, so in one of the questions that we have seen about OAuth 2.0 how it's work, but in this question we're going to talk about how the API key based authentication work in API testing. So they ask you, okay, do you know about API key, how the API key work, or how you can use the API key in your API testing? So let's we talk about more in this particular area. So the API key based authentication is simple method of securing the API, which is API is nothing, it's a unique identifications that has been provided to the each and every client. Okay, and they can use for their API request, and it will get the response accordingly. So API key will have certain limitations, and we will create separate video for that one, how the API key limitation will be set up by the developer. But yeah, each and every client we will provide them the unique identifier, which is the API key, and they can use that API key to make a call to our server and fetch the information from our server. Okay, so the API key will be like that way. We no need to provide like client credential like username and password and client type. We need to just pass the API key over here. So let's see how it's work. So how it's work, client receive a unique API key from the developer once they register for the service. Then client send his API key for each API request and get the usually in a request header or a query parameter, and server will verify the key and allow or deny to access the specific set of resource or set of data that it is authorized. Okay, so if your API key is authorized to access the product or order related data, then when you pass the API key you can only access the order and product related data. But if you try to access the I will just say the inventory related data, it will not allow and it will deny your request. So based on that API we can control the access level or to the client that what they can access from our server. Okay, so that's why API limitation is very much important, and we will create a separate video because it's a good topic to discuss. And this is how it's work. Client receive the API unique key, then it will send the API request to the request header or in a request query parameter, and server will verify that information and send the information back to the client. This is the example, you can just see how you can use in a request header. So you can just say API key and provide your API key. This is the unique identifier that you have provided. And in a query parameter, let's suppose in a get call you want to pass in a query parameters, it depend on the implementation that the developer has done. Okay, so you will get this implementation from your API documentation that they have created, but you can just pass in a query parameters. So you can just say query parameters means included in a query. So after the question mark it is API underscore key, and this is the API key. So this is called query parameter, and this is called passing through the request header. Okay, in a key value pair. So this is the both way you can pass the API key. Then these are the few characteristic of API key. What is API key based authentication? So authentications verify who is accessing the API, then no user identifier. It authenticate the application, not the users. Okay, it will check for from the server side. Okay, this API I need to give the response this kind of information. Not encrypted by default, so it should be always over the HTTPS only. It will not get decrypted because it's very hard to judge the unique identifier, so it is not encrypted one. So we need to pass through HTTP. I will just say the protocol. Then easy to implement, it's very easy and simply and widely used. Most of the companies now will have the API key or the client credential, or means API key will be the basic one, client credential will be the OAuth 2.0. Okay, not very secure. Yeah, this API key, let's suppose if somebody know your API key, they can easily retrieve the data that you can also access. So it's not secure, like not that much secure than the client credential, which is OAuth 2.0. Okay, where you need to pass a grant type, then user ID and user secret key information. Okay, so these are the few characteristic of the API key based authentication. Best practice would be says use HTTP to encrypt the API traffic, then key, the key secret, do not disclose on a public repository or something like that way. Rotate key periodically, like after 3 months or 6 months. Always change. I always ask the owner of the that API key to change your API key. Set the usage limit and the IP restriction on a key. So set up the user limit, like you can only use this kind of this much of data, or just make sure you can only access from this list of IP addresses, like the whitelist the IP addresses from the server side. Prefer the OAuth 2.0, as we have covered already in one of the interview questions when you want to do the sensitive or the user authentication API. So these are the few best practice you can always consider when you are working with the API key based authentication in your API testing. Okay guys, so you can answer like that way and it will give you the good marks. And if you are watching this video, please subscribe to our channel. We will come up with such more videos for you guys.